viewers. Welcome to another exciting episode of Voice of Dreams brought to you by Cyber Kings India. Myself, Shivani Shivadas, Community Executive and Content Creator from Cyber Kings India. Today, we have the wonderful opportunity to chat with an exceptional leader in the field of HR and personal development. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Anjana Vinod, the founder and director of Impact Enhancer.
Hello, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to be on your platform. It's an absolute honor to have this conversation with you. Looking forward for what is going to unfold.
Yes, Dr. Anjana Vinod is a leading positivity and breast cancer coach, a certified facilitator, moderator, published author, and keynote speaker. She has a rich background in operations, training, and development, human resources, and support functions. As a certified image consultant, she empowers individuals to build a positive and winning image by focusing on their appearance, behavior, and communications. Welcome, Dr. Anjana Vinod. We are so thrilled
Thank
to
you.
have you with us today.
Absolutely
Yes.
my pleasure.
As the owner of Impact Enhancer, your company focuses on enhancing appearance, behavior, and communication, the ABC of the success. So, for individuals and corporations, how do you ensure that the transformations you guide your clients through, particularly in appearance and character, create a lasting impact that resonates not just visually, but emotionally as well?
Thank you. So, Shivani, let me ask you this very simple question. I see you have a very beautiful curly hair. Okay. While if you look at my hair, I have like poker straight hair. I'm sure, generally it's always the opposite. What you don't have, you always want that. Correct? So, typically, if I asked you, Shivani, would you like to have straight hair like mine? What will be your answer?
But now I'll actually say no, ma'am. I just love my hair.
You love your hair, right? But if I tell you no, Shivani, you know what? This is the best. Easy to maintain. Let me make it straight for you. Okay, you know what, Shivani? Let's do this. I will just do ironing. Temporarily, I'll do it for you. I'm sure you will like it. Probably Shivani will say, yeah, okay, Anjana, because you're insisting so much, let's do it one day. But the second day, you will wait for that curls to come up back, right? You will
Yeah.
never sustain it. So, for anything to sustain, what is important is I do it in your comfort area. So,
Okay,
when
nice.
I talk about accuracy, when I talk about brevity, or when I talk about appearance, when I talk about behavior, when I talk about communication, I never try to transform a person to make them do something that they are not comfortable with. I try
Right.
to do it in their comfort zone so that the sustainability is longer.
Good. That's glad to hear, ma'am. And so, could you share a real life story where the inside out transformation helps someone achieve long term professional or personal success?
Absolutely, absolutely. So you know what? There was this CEO of one of the leading companies. Okay, a very humble gentleman, fantastic person, brilliant personality. IIM combination, Harvard educated guy, brilliant person. Okay, uh, again from the south, but doing extremely well for himself. Now he's traveled quite extensively and stuff like this. So obviously, wearing a blazer, three-piece suit was something very common for him. He did that all his life. At the age of 30, he got married and came from a very conservative family background. So it was not a love marriage, it was an arranged marriage. He got married to a girl from the village. Very happy, very satisfied, married, all went well. However, she came from a native background, very traditional. His problem was, Anjana, when I have to take her for my business meetings, the way she carries herself is very low profile. The kind of people I'm meeting are highly sophisticated people, hi fi people. Not that her communication is a problem. She speaks brilliant English. But you know what? For me to have a dialogue and a conversation with her, the first thing that comes to me is her physical appearance. If I can't connect with her, if I feel that, oh, you know what? I don't know how to talk to her. I don't know whether she will know English also or no. Because the way she carries herself. Anjana, can you do something for her? Can you have a conversation with her? So I asked him, I said, what is your expectation? What do you want her to do? No, do whatever you want. Just that I want her to be more presentable and more urban kind in front of people. I said, perfect. So I had a conversation with this lady and I asked her, I said, young lady, I know, you know why you're here, right? So she said, yeah, I'm absolutely here. I have prepared myself for the transformation. For a second, I thought she was going on a war. So I looked at her and I was like, hello, you don't need to be scared. I'm not going to change you into somebody that you don't think you are. She said, no, no, I know. Now I'll have to wear westerns. I'm not comfortable, but it's okay. For my husband, I'll do it. I said, no, you will continue to wear a sari. You will continue to wear the bindi. You will continue to wear the the Mangal Sutra. You'll continue to wear the sindoor. Nothing changes. She said, then how will I look modern? I said, let's see what we can do. So the simple transformation that we did for her was she was always wearing a sari. We just got it pleated for her. She was always wearing a blouse. We just changed the pattern of the blouse. We got it into a jacket kind of blouse. Normally, she would wear a deep neck. We got her to wear collared blouses. Very comfortable. She was normally wearing chappals. We got her to wear just closed pair or sandals with only half an inch of heel. Only that much heel. Very comfortable. And that's when the gradual transformation started. Today, I'm not exaggerating, Shivani. If you look at her, she is a trendsetter, and other women who were considered to be the best dressed women go to her and ask her for styling tips. We never changed
Um,
anything for her. We never got her to do a lot of makeup or anything. Nothing. Just basic. Just make sure you're wearing a moisturizer. You don't have dry skins. Make sure your nails are painted. If they get chipped, just put a color on that. Small changes, but it creates a big impact and it becomes sustainable because you're comfortable doing it.
yes, that was great, ma'am. It was a great story and really inspiring. And so, as a cancer survivor, what do you believe is the most effective way to raise awareness among women about the importance of early detection of cancer?
So, October is a breast cancer month. So, practically every second day, I'm either giving a talk or I'm interacting with cancer survivors and working with it. Uh, I am ICF, International Coaching Federation certified coach, and one of the leading breast cancer coaches, and only breast cancer, mind you, coaches in India. So, one of the things I very strongly believe is for people to understand why do you get cancer? How many of us really know what is the core reason for getting cancer? I'm sure 80% of us will say, Anjana, diet, lifestyle, the way we eat, the smoking, drinking, having junk food, all these things. Yes, but there is a deeper cause for cancer. One of the biggest reasons why women get cancer is because of suppression of their feelings leading to stress. As Indians, we are all told that as women, you have to always sacrifice, you have to adjust, you have to accommodate. So, as a family, if you're going out and, if my husband says, oh, I want to have Chinese today, and I wanted to have Mughlai, and I would tell him, oh, Chinese, acha chalo, let's all go for Chinese. Somebody will tell something to you, and you want to just give it back to that person, but you don't, thinking that, oh, unnecessary fight in the house. Forget it. I keep shut. You talk. Now, every time we keep doing that, we are suppressing our feelings inside. And those feelings convert into knots, which sometimes become malignant. So, one of the easiest way, and I always say this to all the women, is if you want to have awareness of cancer, two things you must do. One, speak your mind out. Maybe now, right now, if I talk to you, we'll have a big fight. No problem. Talk it out the other day. Talk it out 2 days later. Say, hey, you know what? I know this is a little late, but this has been hurting me for a while. And I thought it's important I share this with you. Share what you feel. And number two is self examination, which is very simple. You don't need to go to a doctor. You don't need to get a mammography done. Nothing. Just self examination. If you go to YouTube, there are zillions of videos that teach you how to self-examine your breast. Moment you find a single slightest of the knot, You find something. Oh, today I saw it was there while examining. Tomorrow when I tried, I can't find the knot. Doesn't matter. You found it on day one. You knew it was there. Get a checkup done. And after the age of 30, make sure that you get a mammography done regularly, at least once in a year. It just helps you in detecting in early, and early detection is simple reason for savior.
All right, ma'am. And how do you feel community support influences women's decision to prioritize their health and get regular health checkups?
So one thing, we as women always do is keep our health in the back burner. And I'll tell you a very simple example, very classic example. And I'm sure Shivani, you will agree with me. This happens with you also in your house also. So night we all cook food. Okay. Little avial, little sambar is remaining. Next day morning, who eats that avial and sambar?
Of course, mother.
Correct? See, it was so easy for you. Of course, mom. But that's where the problem arises. That's where the problem arises. Why can't everybody take one spoon? It's only one small katori of avial, right? One spoon, everybody takes, avial is over. But everybody ate it. Correct? Women tend to take everything on themselves. So one of the things I always say is stop trying to become a Bonvita mom or a super mom. You don't need to be one. You don't need to be one. Society is not asking you to become one. You take it on yourself. Oh, I have to keep my mom happy. I have to keep my in-laws happy. I have to keep my husband happy. I have to keep my child happy. I have to keep everybody happy, 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 happy. It doesn't matter at what cost. You'll always pay a price. So one of the things that I personally feel we all can do as a society, yes, it does influence. And so I always tell this in my women leadership programs, where I tell women, okay, imagine you and your husband going to work together. Both of you came back home together, and in the evening you're having a cup of tea. Just before having that cup of tea, the husband gets up and says, I'll make coffee. And your wife immediately gets, no, 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 don't make coffee, I'll make it, you sit, you've come tired from office. What about you? So I think societally we all need to accept the fact that previously men were supposed to be the breadwinners, women were supposed to be the home takers and carers. Today that has changed. Today women are shouldering the responsibility with a man, and it is very true. It's very true, because one person's income, previously it was one person earning, 10 people eating. Now 10 people earning and 10 people eating is a challenge. Society has changed, norms have changed. And now with women going out to work, acceptance of men in the kitchen is also getting little by little there. But I think your generation is the one who's going to make that change. Because when you have kids and when you have sons as kids, when you start teaching them that, listen, dad is setting the table and so will you, I think things are
Yes.
going to change. But the society will need to have this transformation. It's going to take some time, because acceptance doesn't happen that easily. We all say change is, the only truth of life, but that's one thing that we'll never accept.
Sure, ma'am. True. And that will be changing soon. Everything.
Yeah.
Yes. Moving on to the
I
next.
am no, I am very sure that a lot of Shivanis like you are going to make this change.
Sure, absolutely, ma'am. So, moving on to the next question. With 30 years of experience in HR, training and development across large MNCs, how do you tailor leadership training programs to align with both company goals and individual employee growth?
Super. So, you know what? Leadership has gone through a lot of transformation. Uh, Previously, we were looking at IQ to have a good leader. Oh, does he know the process? Does he know the system? Does he understand everything? We'll hire him as a CEO. Today, EQ is the ask of the society. Does he understand people? Does he sustain people? Does he work with people? So, when I design a leadership training program, we begin with a focus group discussion. HR might feel that, oh, you know what, we have a very good leadership team, but they're all sole runners. They all play individually. They need to collaborate, cross function. They need to work together. This is what HR is telling me. When I have a focus group discussion with the leaders and I ask them, so, what are the leadership things that you find biggest challenge in? If you had to work on something on that front, what would that be? We take a lot of inputs from them, and you will be surprised that almost 60% of the time the asks are totally different, because what you see may not be the true reality, correct? Because you see it from one particular lens. While when we have interaction with leaders, we see a different thing. So what I typically do when I design a training program, especially for the leadership team, is understand what is the leadership struggling with. Understand what are the organization's goals, missions, values, and all these things. Then check how does this align with this? Where is the gap that I see? And basis what I see as a gap, I design my training programs. So that's how it's typically structured for a leadership journey.
All right, understood, ma'am. And also, having worked with companies like Prudential UK and eFunds, how has that diverse experience shaped your approach to problem solving and HR strategies?
I think it's one of the best experiences of my life that I would definitely like to talk about. Every organization has a different DNA, correct? You are born and brought up in one particular family. When you get married, you go to another family, and that family has a very different take, very different working style, very different things, correct? You come from a conservative background. This is a very open, urban, rural. All these things happen. Similarly, every organization has a DNA and a culture. So when you interact with the organization, the cultural diversities is something that you learn from. Now, what has been best for your organization may or may not be best for another organization. So, like when I worked with Prudential UK, it very dominantly had a UK culture, very openness. We never had, systems where we would call anybody sir, ma'am, or stuff like this. It was all first name basis. Even if it's a CEO, I would call him in the first name basis. My juniors would call me by the first name basis. But when I moved to a traditional setup, when I worked with companies like Capveda or Pantheon Group, which are typical Indian companies, sir, ma'am culture was there. So, how does one get this alignment? And in Prudential, if I called anybody sir, they would tell me like, "Oh, that's not my title," because in UK, sir is a title. In India, Sarji, please, is a way of life. So I think every organization taught me the very simple fact that there is difference in culture. There is a way of life how every organization works. And for me, I think that learning got me a lot of things that I could implement in my training programs. So how I would interact with the HR while designing a program, how I would interact with the business holders who are giving me their requirement, challenging them, asking them challenging questions. I think that mindset, which could tuck, 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 move like a regulator, became much easier thanks to the experiences I had in the corporate space.
Great, man. Great. That was amazing. And in the face of challenging circumstances or significant organizational changes, what strategies do you employ to keep your team motivated and maintain a positive mindset?
Yeah. So I've been a positivity coach for almost more than a decade and a half now. And I very strongly believe that as humans, having a negative mindset is given. We are born with that. And I don't blame anybody for it, but that's how our culture is. Like, you look at a small baby. Is he scared of snake, cockroaches, lizards, anything? No. You'll find him running behind to hold all of them. Will you hold a snake?
No,
Have you ever held a snake?
no, I'll hold a snake once that fear is gone.
Correct. But have you ever held a snake?
I
No.
haven't, not yet, ma'am.
No. But you still, the first thought was like, snake. No.
Not that that's some kind of fear.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Where did that fear come from?
Don't know.
Don't know. I'll tell you where that fear came from. That fear came from our childhood, how we were taught good, bad, dangerous, safe. Do it, don't do it.
Yes,
And
true.
that's where the mindset gets built. So we all are born with this mindset where we are told what to do, what not to do, what is right, what is wrong, and everything. And that's where the negative mindset comes in from. So
Yes.
if you want your team to think positively, number one, create that environment which makes them believe it's comfortable and it's okay to falter. Create that psychological safety net where the person believes that, hey, you know what? If I do a mistake, nobody is going to put me out of the company. Nobody is going to tell me that I did a mistake. I'm accountable for it. 1 month salary gone. No. But if we have that appetite, then people will take calculated risks. which means there is an environment which allows you to be vulnerable, not being scared about, oh, I'm talking about my fears. Now, my next appraisal is my boss going to hold this against me? No. So, for your team to be motivated, for your team to feel good, number one, psychological safety. Number two is, can you look at the eye of a person in your team and tell what they are going through? For that, knowing your people is really important. What drives them to do what you're doing? Okay. If I understand these two basic nuances, connecting with the person becomes that much easier. And then there is a healthy environment. And there is no harm in having a conflict. Correct? It depends on how you look at a conflict. I don't want to get into a conflict because, oh my God, who's going to fight with her? Or am I going to say, let's get into this conflict? Yeah, let's figure it out. What is the right way of doing it? And irrespective of what the outcome is, in my favor, in your favor, accepting that because we did a healthy brainstorming will create that positive environment all throughout. And your team feels very motivated because you're giving them that space to come out in the open, talk about it, and share their thought processes. Yeah.
Wow, that was really impressive, ma'am. And after 3 decades in demanding positions, what practices or routines help you manage stress and prioritize personal well being and this professional responsibilities?
I love myself. I'm my favorite. Simple. Simple. If you cannot give your priority to yourself, you cannot give it to anybody else. So, in fact, one of my first TED Talks that I did, the first question that I had asked my audience of around 1,200 people who were sitting in the auditorium was, who is the most important person in your life? Spouse, husband, kids, parents. You will have a plethora of relationships to talk about. But the question is, will these relationships still be a priority if you have a fractured leg? Will this relationship still be a priority if you cannot move and, if you're immobile, if you're going through a health hazard? No. Suddenly, all these relationships become a burden. You become a burden on these relationships. So I think what is very, very important is, are we calling giving ourselves priority selfish? Become one. Really doesn't matter. Are we giving ourselves a priority, making people feel that, oh my God, what an attitude? Doesn't matter. I'll give you a simple example, correct? Today we had this interview, but had we, very randomly not planned this interview and we would have said, okay, Anjana, okay, I have 15 minutes. Can we talk? Even then, you would have seen me exactly the way you see me right. Eyebrows, lipstick, a neck piece, my watch, my bangle, my earrings, exactly the way you see me right now. Why? Because for me, I am my priority. A lot of time I ask women that, when was the last time you went to the parlor? Oh, now I'm not going because nothing is there. No, once wedding comes, that time I'll go. Which means you're getting yourself up to the mark to show the world. You see yourself in the mirror every day and you're okay with seeing whatever you see. So, the simple thing that I tell myself is, if you love yourself, you will love the world. Ask yourself a simple question. When you dress up really well, when you feel really good, when you're wearing a nice fragrance, when you're really looking good, having a little blush, little makeup on your face, how does it make you feel? Wow, I feel very
Yes,
good
sir.
about myself, right?
Yes.
So, wouldn't you want to feel good every single day? And why not? Why not? So, if you start loving yourself, loving the world becomes much easier. And when you respect yourself, the world respects you.
Amazing. That was truly amazing, ma'am. And for professionals who find it difficult to strike a balance between their work and personal lives, what advice would you give to them?
Stop balancing. Simple. Remember one thing. You've seen a weighing scale, right? When you say balance, what does it mean? Take little from here, keep it here. Oh, this has gone down. Take little from here, keep it here. Oh, this has gone down. Now take little from here, keep it here. Balancing is exactly that. You're taking work, you're giving it to home. You're taking from home, giving it to work. You will always be juggling. So the simple thing that I tell all people is, don't balance, but integrate it. What does integration mean? Very simple. You're not balancing it. They're all over inside each other. So if I need more of this, I go more inside. If I need less of this, I become less inside. So it depends. How beautifully are you integrating two things? I don't need to be a superwoman. I know I'm at work, but my daughter needs me for an open house. I can't reach there for the open house because this is a board meeting which is really important. I just need to manage two things. Maybe I'll call up the school and tell them that today it looks a little difficult. Ma'am, can I come and meet you a little later? I'm integrating it. But if I had to balance it, what would I have done? Oh, I'll tell my board meeting I'm not attending it. I will run to school. Or I will say, no, board meeting more important. I am not coming to school. I'm trying to balance. Or I will attend half board meeting and half this meeting, which means not fruitful anywhere. That's what balancing is all about, right? So don't try and balance. Integrate it. Figure out where the ask is more and where the ask is not more, what can you substitute it with? So maybe I'll tell my husband that, hey, listen, you know what? Today I have a board meeting. I just can't go for this. Can you please go? Or I'll ask my parents to go. That is what integration is all about. But for that, I need to ensure that my parents at all points of time are aware of the fact of what my daughter is doing. Suddenly, out of the blue, that I tell you, go attend the school open house, and the teacher keeps telling, oh, last week I told your mom this I told you. My poor mother would have no idea what she's talking about. But imagine I'm integrating it by constantly having communication with my husband. Okay, you know what? Today, this is what happened in the school, buddy. You need to have a talk with your daughter, or we both sit and have a conversation with my daughter. There is no surprise element, and hence integration becomes very easy. So, simple advice: don't balance, integrate. Communicate with people so they know what is happening, and life becomes very easy.
A great advice from your side, ma'am. That was a great idea. And thank you so much, Dr. Anjana Vinod, for sharing your valuable insights and experiences with us today. Your
Thank you.
dedication to positivity, personal development, and breast cancer advocacy is truly inspiring. We wish you all the success in your ongoing endeavors, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Highly appreciate, and it was a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you.
Yes. And to all our viewers, if you want to learn more about Dr. Anjana Vinod, don't forget to check out the links in the description below. Stay tuned for more insightful interviews. Until next time, take care and goodbye.